Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today we are going to be talking about some of the best freeware mods and add-ons in aircraft that you can get. Given the fact the Christmas holiday just passed by, I'm sure that many of you got more flight sim gear, and today we're going to help you improve that experience. If you are interested in acquiring any of my Overkills tutorial guides or simply interested in supporting the channel, please consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides as well as any future guides that come along down the road. Patreon link can be found in the description below, and thank you to all of my current subscribers. Okay guys, so as I said, Christmas just passed. I'm sure many of you got new gear. Maybe some of you are stepping into Microsoft Flight Simulator for the first time. So I figured this was a good time to talk about some of the best freeware add-ons and tools that you can have for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Jumping into the game here, I'm going to show you guys probably my top favorite ones, aircraft and tools as well. But the biggest thing that I want you guys to take from this is not an end-all be-all list, not necessarily a top 10. It's not my favorites or just, you know, these are the end-all be-all, if you will. I'm sure there's probably about 100 of them that I'm going to miss. This is just to sort of get you going and maybe some aircraft that you haven't tried out yet. So let's go ahead and get started with our list. So first up for me, the one that really changed it all for me, I've been with them since the start. I've been flying this aircraft, and that is the Flybywire A32NX. What this mod does is takes the default A320, and actually now it's a separate installation, but it takes the base model of the A320 that's in Microsoft Flight Simulator and turns it into a, let's call it again, high fidelity version of the A320 from Airbus. This model of the aircraft, everything from the flight model to the systems operation to the tablet that's available on the pilot side of the aircraft, has truly changed the simulation experience in Microsoft Flight Simulator from the day this team took it over. One of the amazing things about the installer here is it also includes the FSTL, which is their Flybywire's AI traffic injector that injects real-world traffic into the simulator. So boom, AI traffic situation solved, a high fidelity A320 solved, and it also has the integration with the Salty Simulations 747, so it improves the 747 as well. They've really done an amazing job. There's a ton of other projects coming down the line from them, as well as, of course, we all know the very anticipated and soon to be completely 100% free. I don't know about soon. Take the soon out. Eventually will be the completely free A380X. Sticking with the Airbus level of aircraft for the moment, or manufacturers say, we have the Airbus A330-900neo. This is another freeware add-on aircraft. Now, doesn't have quite the high fidelity that the Flybywire A32NX does. However, if you guys check the description there, it does have integration with it, meaning that many of the systems and cockpit functions that are in the Flybywire A32NX, which is an almost completely and fully modeled cockpit, also exist in the A330. So it is a fantastic adjustment to the simulator, bringing a large haul aircraft into the simulator. The flight model is absolutely fantastic. It's an incredibly fun aircraft to fly, and going from the A32NX from Flybywire moving into the A330, you should have a very seamless transition and be able to fly a much bigger aircraft and take those longer flights. And again, completely free. This next one I included because it really comes down to preference. This is the MFS 2020 map enhancement. Now be very, very understanding with this one, guys, and please read the disclaimer that is right here on the main page here. What this essentially does is changes the map functionality from using Bing Maps over to Google Maps satellite imagery. So it really depends on what your preference is in that particular region of the world. However, I will absolutely say there's some massive enhancements depending on the region in which you're flying. It really does depend. But make sure that you guys check this out if you are a avid Google satellite imagers preference holder, if you will, because I think you will enjoy using this tool. The really cool thing about this tool is it's very, very easy and seamless to switch back to the Bing, the default map satellite imagery, if you choose to go that route. Next up are a couple of my favorite aircraft from one of my favorite developers, and that is Got Gravel. Got Gravel really made a name for himself from the second that he joined the community. He is now part of the Got Friends development team, which again do absolutely fantastic work, and I'm sure that there are a couple of their aircraft that I need to mention here. We will definitely be mentioning a couple of their paywares when we get to the payware series. But the Savage Gravel monster truck in the skies is an incredibly fun STOL aircraft, and that stands for short takeoff or landing. This thing you can park it just about on a speed bump if you wanted to. It's incredibly powerful, very, very functional. The graphics and texturing of it are wonderful, and the sounds are right on par with what you'd expect them to be. And again, this is a completely free aircraft. Okay, so if you guys are into those bush trips and you want to go out into the middle of nowhere, set up a little camping trip, or just freaking park it on your neighbor's driveway, this is the aircraft that you'd want to pick up and start with. Again, completely free. Sticking with Got Gravel for just a minute here, I think this was the aircraft that really put him on the map, and that was the Vertigo. Now, the Vertigo is technically a fictional aircraft. It has some basis on some real-world aircraft, but the aircraft itself is fictional. However, it is a ton of fun to fly. It is extremely fast, extremely high-performing. The yank and turn rate of the aircraft are absolutely just, they'll knock you out of your seats. This is one of those aircraft where if you get nauseous in VR in high performance aircraft, do not fly it in VR. However, if you're a thrill seeker like myself and you love to get down low in VR and just watch the trees barely passing underneath you, this is a wonderful aircraft to go tear it up the skies in. It's again extremely fast, extremely maneuverable, has a ridiculous climb rate, and yet at the same token, it's not too unrealistic. The aircraft is fictional, but the performance for this type of aircraft, should it exist, is actually quite reasonable. There's nothing that's like, it's not going to shoot you into outer space or anything like that. So many of the performances, what you experience in the cockpit is what you would expect when you're looking at the plane from the outside. It looks fast, it looks maneuverable, it looks like I can grip it and rip it, and boy, does it. Again, completely free aircraft. Link will be in the description. Check this one out. And again, if you have VR, I advise caution. One of the better improvement mods that was really welcome to the simulator. Now, the Cessna 208B Grand Caravan is already in the simulator, depending on which package that you purchased. However, I think many will agree with me that it is severely lacking. The default version was missing a lot. The functionality was missing. The performance of the aircraft wasn't correct. It really dragged tail, if you catch my drift. And the Cessna 208 Grand Caravan EX Improvement Mod really did a wonderful job of bringing this aircraft closer to what real-world expectation would be. This aircraft just turned into a night and day difference with it. It's a ton of fun to fly. I love using this particular aircraft for the island hopping when I'm just cruising on the weekend. And yes, guys, unfortunately, I will not be showcasing the TBM 930 improvement mod as once AAU1 drops into the stable version of the simulator, there just won't be much need for it anymore. And quite frankly, we won't be able to use it because it will break. So at the moment, I am leaving that one out, but the Cessna 208 is definitely one that I would also put in as a replacement for such a feature because it has done such an amazing job. It's another turboprop aircraft, has just as high of a range and ceiling that you can fly the aircraft in. So really good time if you enjoy those turboprop aircraft, those island jumpers that can make the jumps real quick, or just something that's a lot of fun to fly. This is a good one to add on to it. The next one is the Asobo Baron G58 Realism mod. This is another one that I actually just recently did another video on a few days ago. The Baron G58 I think is one of the coolest, slickest looking general aviation aircraft that we currently have in the simulator. There's just something about its overall design and the structure of the aircraft and the fact that it's twin engine to boot. I love twin engine aircraft. It was always one of my favorites to fly and mess around with. However, there came a time where I was going to do a guide on it. And as I was comparing what the simulator performance was and according to the Real World's Pilot's Operational Handbook, they were nowhere close. I wasn't hitting anywhere near the numbers that was to be expected. It wasn't rotating at right speeds and based on weight, etc. And the performance mod that is, or realism mod, I should say, that's been given here really changes that aircraft performance quite a bit and brings it much, much closer to a realistic expectation. You know, it's not going to be a huge night and day difference where it's a game-breaking situation, but there are certain aspects of the performance of the aircraft, such as especially during landing and climbing, where you get the performance that you would expect to have from this twin-engine aircraft. So I highly recommend that you guys give this one a shot if the Baron G58 is an aircraft that you're interested in flying. Next up, from none other than one of our fly-by-wire developers, we have the Duckworks DC-3 improvement modification. This aircraft was already an awesome plane to fly, especially just given the sheer nostalgia and age of the aircraft. However, the improvements that were brought on with this particular mod absolutely changed the game once again. I know I say absolutely a lot, it's just one of those words you just have to suck up and deal with. But it really changed a ton with this aircraft. Everything from the overall performance and flight model makes it feel a bit more realistic and not so much. There are times where this aircraft seems like it's flying on rails and it shouldn't be. The sounds, and then again, you guys can see some of the texture work that has definitely been redone to this aircraft. Again, this was brought to us by one of the Flybywire A320 developers, so the fact that that is in itself should be enough to say, ooh, I definitely need to try this out. So if you're a big fan of the DC-3, make sure that you guys grab the link from down in the description below, add it to your simulator, and go back up and fly it again. The next one is a mod I haven't touched on in quite some time. And it sort of just got buried in the list here, but I still use it on every single night flight that I do. I am still an avid believer that the night lighting in the sim, especially around the airports, is wrong. It's still very much lacking. It's still very dull in many areas, especially if you're talking about default airport scenery. I mean, no third-party add-on for that particular airfield. Airport Lights has been a project that has been ongoing, and now looks like we're serving over 1,100 international airports. If you guys just come down and put a comment in here, see, for like this one, perfect right here. Oh, actually, that's not requesting what I thought it was. You can actually leave a comment under the description here and make a request. And I did the same thing for KTUS, for Tucson International here. My hometown, and within a couple days I had one. He went in there and adjusted all the lights, gave me new parking signs and all kinds of cool stuff. So it really made a big difference for the night approaches and really brought the airports to life. And the biggest thing, it makes them much, much easier to see at a distance, but not in an unrealistic manner. So if you are like myself and you feel that many of the airports are really lacking that night lighting and illumination, this is a perfect add-on for you guys to grab on. Even if it doesn't have the airport you're looking for, comment down here on this page, and hopefully they will add it for you. The Cessna 172 is obviously a staple in general aviation, especially when it comes to trainers and learning to fly. You see them at almost just about every single training park that there is. And one of the things that was really disappointing when the launch of the simulator came to be was that the Cessna 172s really had a lot of things missing in comparison to the real Cessna 172. And that was a real shocker for me, I'm not going to lie, simply because, again, as I just stated, it is such a popular aircraft. I mean, how do you not take the time to truly develop a Cessna 172, which is just a known across general aviation simmers anywhere in the world? So one of the greatest things that I discovered was this particular improvement mod. Now, this works with the Garmin G1000. Okay, I don't have one. I am not aware of one for the deluxe version with the steam gauges. I wish I did. If you guys know of one, let me know down in the comments below. I will absolutely check that out because I would prefer that. I'm kind of over the glass cockpits. They get kind of boring after a while. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to lie. It's like once you fly one, you fly them all, which isn't true. Just feels like it. But this particular add-on did a wonderful job with bringing far more than just performance fixes to the aircraft, but a bunch of textual and feature-rich engagements with the aircraft, such as you can see here, state saving, meaning however you shut the aircraft down. If you just turn the sim off and your aircraft was running, the next time you launch into the Cessna 172, your aircraft's going to be running. If you shut it all down, but you left the pitot heat on, when you come back in, the pitot heat's still going to be on. So really cool stuff, and it really gives you that sort of experience of owning your own aircraft, because again, it's up to you to maintain it and you know, make sure that you have it actually, you know, shut down correctly or start up correctly. But again, same thing, like closing doors, working sun visors, configurable removable fairings, front and back, and a bunch of other stuff that's actually available with this, as well as the checklist. Now, this is one of the coolest screenshots that I actually... Oh, would you knock it off? Come on. I don't know why it can't be loaded. That's kind of annoying. Anyway, let's see if we can grab this one. Why can't any of these be loaded? They're all doing it. I wonder if FlightSim.to is having a problem. Anyway, you guys can check out the link in the description below. Check out the screenshots. I promise that you will absolutely love it. This is a wonderful addition to the Cessna 172. Next, we have another 172 edition, but this is the FR-172 Rames rocket. So this is the 172 Hawk. Now, what this aircraft essentially is a much more powerful, with a 210 horsepower engine, 172. Now, this is a really, really cool addition to the 172 and keeps that 172 feel, but again, having better power and range of the aircraft just makes things a bit more fun. Makes you feel like you're not flying quite the boat or tug that the 172 is, and you can have a bit more fun with the aircraft. Sounds and feature-rich aircraft is absolutely on par with everything. This is not a modification. It is an aircraft installation all on its own, and has a ton of really great work done with this particular aircraft. I think you guys would really enjoy it. If you like the 172, if you like general aviation, if you like the little puddle jumper aircraft, give this one a shot, because you get all of those things. Just you get more horsepower, you get faster climbs, shorter takeoffs, as it's listed here on the description, and then the hangar is hangar. Gosh darn it, I read the damn wrong thing. I didn't mean to read that. The checklist or tablet options with inside the aircraft truly offer a lot. It's not letting me load any pictures. I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, so definitely check this one out, because I think you guys will really, really like it. Sticking with the Cessna series here, this is a developer who needs no introduction. That is JP Logistics. JP Logistics did a Cessna 152 enhancement mod amongst many other mods, but this was probably, in my personal opinion, his best work. He took the Cessna 152, much like we were talking about earlier with the Flybywire aircraft. He took the Cessna 152, and turned it into a fully functional Cessna 152 with damn near matching numbers to the real world's pilot operational handbook. Really broke the thing down, as well as adjusting textures, lighting, sound, and then adding many features that weren't already there with the aircraft. So definitely grab this one, guys. Again, if the general aviation aircraft are things that you guys want to enjoy, this is a good one. Let me go ahead and pull up the change logs here for you guys. You guys can just see some of the work that's been done over the last couple patches, but it goes on and on. I mean, you can see we have 4 pages of change log with this particular bird. So really a ton of work was done, put into this one. Now, JP Logistics, I believe, has handed this aircraft off to a different developer who has given us his word that he's going to continue to keep up on par with the Cessna 152 enhancement. Finally, with all of these add-ons, tools, and add stuff that's going to be coming down the line, you need an easy way to manage it. MSFS Add-ons Linker is a tool that I have used since its initial release that gives you far more than what even I use it for. This has the ability to very easily and effectively organize all of your add-ons into subfolders and categories, much like what you would see here. Again, it's not letting me load them. Oh, that one came up. But you guys can see sort of here, you have aircraft, cities, you know, how they've broken down. This is exactly how I use mine. But it can do far, far more than that. You can set up very specific profiles. If you only want certain add-ons in when you're flying the Cessna 152, you know, you can click a button and it will only load those ones that you're looking for. It can also be used to execute different applications such as NeoFly and your track IR and things like that. It has the ability to create batch files, essentially, is what it does, and launch, again, multiple applications in sequence, again, also based on a specific profile. So you may want one profile for one aircraft and another profile for another. It does a ton, but the thing I love the most about this one is that it is so very user-friendly. It is laid out very, very clean and makes it very, very easy to understand what you're doing and navigate through it. It is a wonderful tool for managing all of your add-ons, especially when it comes down to patching. One of the cool things is even if you run an application or a third-party installer, it installs an aircraft into your community folder. For example, Aerosoft. Aerosoft has their own installer, right? And let's say you have it install an aircraft directly into your community folder. All you have to do is copy that aircraft out, put it into your Addons linker folder, and once again, that's another add-on that is now being managed by Addons linker. You get a nice green identifier letting you know what is actually installed and running. If it has any kind of issue, even if you have the check mark, you'll see a red light. You can activate entire folders at once or individually. And again, it makes it really simple during patch time to add and remove add-ons, especially if you are running into an issue where maybe one is possibly breaking or crashing the simulator. Very, very handy tool. Highly recommend this one. It can be used for anything from scenery to aircraft, UI adjustments, you name it. Well, my friends, that is going to wrap up today's episode of add-ons, freeware add-ons for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Again, this is not a top 10 thing. This is not the best of the best. They were just some really cool ones that I thought you guys might like to hear about. Let me know if you guys have a list of your own personal favorites. I'd love to hear some of your favorite add-ons that are down below in the description, and I will absolutely check them out, guys. As always, folks, stay safe and healthy. Stay tuned for the next one. We've got some really cool stuff coming your way. We've got a Ford tri-motor coming your way. We're trying out the new Cohen Bell 206, as well as showing off some really cool hardware this week. So stick around. There's a lot coming.